We continue on Rehearsal Pro, Kotlin Multiplatform, leaving off from where we were before. This is part 14. Background music is Lockdown by Simon Posford. It's 3 years ago, if you hear it. I don't think the mic's picking it up. So when we left off, we were accessing line sets. Still got some breakpoints. And we select line set. It prepares to open the audio player, and I believe this is going to fail. Because it doesn't have an audio file name. So, we need the file name. Let's do that. Domain. Here we are. Line scene name. Oops. Forgot that I have Vim bindings here. I can actually edit a lot faster than an Xcode. Line scene audio file name. And audio file name is NF. NF. It's a string, so it's the same. We need to add this to the adapter for Objective-C. There we go. Now I can't use my Vim bindings because I'm in Xcode. Audio file name. Audio file name. Okay. And let's see how far we get now. Test, test, test. Just checking the mic levels. Are they a little loud? I might need to rebalance it a little bit. All right, boom. And here we go. Prepare. Keep going. Do we have a file name? We still don't have a file name. Audio file name. Why do we not have the audio file name? Well, we added the property accessors, but we didn't actually use them. That might help. Yeah, right here. That would be helpful. All right, so keep our tag. And we'll get rid of this. And we have to use, this is Objective-C, we have to use an Objective-C call. It's going to be line domain, line scene. The name is audio file name. And the argument is scene. Scene. Like we're doing some acting here. Okay. Here we go again. Boom. Boom. And there we go. We have an audio file name. Okay. Init with contents of URL. Let's see what happens. Boom, error. Error localized description. So we get an error string. We get an alert manager. See what the error string says. Operation couldn't be completed. So why not? All right, we don't need that breakpoint. Get rid of that one. Or get rid of that one. That's a little loud for me. I don't know if you can hear the background, but it's actually a little loud for me. I'm going to bring it down from 50 to 30. Not decibels, that's just percentage on the speaker control. So why is it not loading? Well, I'm going to guess it's because the file's not there. So I disabled all of the synchronization code that would pull down the pieces such as the audio files and so forth. And even though it's getting the JSON that tells it the audio file name, which is why it's available in the dictionary, the actual file itself was probably not retrieved. And we need to look at why the file was not retrieved. Okay, so let's go ahead and save the work we have so far. Even though these are whips. Do we have a whip? Add pure domain functions, domain line scene. We might end up collapsing that stuff down, but for now, let's just go ahead and save this. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of commits if I do it for every single one of these guys. So common main. Yeah. Add pure domain function, domain line scene, audio, file name, dict. Okay. Save that. That's the Kotlin part. GitLab's be a little laggy. And this is the iOS part. And legacy and main. So this is where we added it, and this is where we used it. I'll make this whip 18, line scene, audio file name, to-dos, rewritten. How's that? That won't be the final commit. We'll end up doing it at some point. All right, so that work is saved. Now, what we need to do is we need to figure out where the syncing is that got disabled. So I'm thinking a way to do this would be, let's check where all the syncing is. Should we look for syncing? Synced? Let's do a grep. Find grep star sync. Okay, assuming synced for now. This is a comment I put in. Line scene reader view. There it is. Where are we at? Synced. Is completely synced. Okay. So I've been, oh wow. Yeah, it's all pretty disabled. And there we can see right there. We just assume it's true. So because we're assuming it's true, it's not going out and trying to sync. And in order to get the actual audio file name, I'm going to have to re-enable the replication logic, aka synchronization logic. I prefer calling it replication. So I think it's time to stop punting on this and actually add the replication state to our domain. And instead of using timestamps or dates, well, it's going to rely on dates from the back end because we can't change the API. But we're going to use what I used to call delta numbers. So let's think about this. All of the properties of these domain entities are in these dictionaries coming from the back end. And the back end is not going to have any information about what local properties. So are we going to add it to the dictionary? I think that's the simplest approach at this point. Okay, let's start from the top. Here's where it said assuming is synced. So table view is synced. Where else do we have synced? I think it looks like this place is where start sync line set. Let's see that. Start sync line set. Dispatch async main queue. Reload data. I don't think this is doing this. Oh no, here we go. Download cloud line set sync synchronizer. This is where we actually download it. And this is in line scene synchronizer. Do we have line scene synchronizer in here somewhere? Got a lot of synchronizers. There we go. Download. Oh, I've got a breakpoint on it. That's how we know nothing happened, because all this got disabled. Bet this is where it goes and it gets the audio file name. Audio updates, line scene. Yeah, it's all been disabled. Okay, where were we? We're in line scene reader view. As usual, this stuff is kind of smattered all over the place. Okay, so this needs to get called. It's not getting called. And so let's just see how far we can get. So it's not getting called because it's commented out here. I wonder if this ever gets, this probably gets hit. Back. Let's just continue on. Well, we know that failed. Yeah. Let's go back though. Let's try this again. Yeah, boom. So as soon as we try to open up the line, as soon as we click on it, this is basically the open is going to open the line scene view. It's going, look, we're not editing it, so let's find out if we need to sync. If we're not synced, we're going to go out and sync it right now. So we need to re-enable this. All right, so I don't know why we say cloud here. All right, so we're getting rid of this comment because we're rewriting this. Now this commented out line, this stuff is not from me. This is previous code. So this is old code. I'm not going to look at that. So line scene is completely synced. We no longer have a line set core data object, so we no longer have this method on it. And let's look at the old method so we can think about how we're going to rewrite this. All right, so this is on line set. Line set is completely synced. Let's see where it is. Is it in here? Is completely synced, yeah. All right, is completely synced. Where is this completely synced? There it is. If sync status equals sync status synced. Synced means the replicas match. The remote and the local replicas match. That's how I'm going to keep track of this. Instead of all these secondary flags, well, this really isn't, it still has this sync status. Remember we looked at sync status before? I think it was under something status constants, sync constants, some kind of constants. Where do we see this? It wasn't under core data. Let's just find it. Sync status synced. Sync constants under Objective-C UI element. Why did I put it under UI element? It's just a constant. Legacy, Objective-C. Let's close some of this up. It's making it hard to see what's going on. All right, Objective-C legacy UI element. Why is this a UI element? I don't think it should be there. Oh, because there's an import of UI kit. Why does it import UI kit? Do we see anything in here that looks, oh, UI image. So this is not really UI related, but it's been contaminated with a UI dependency, which is what pulls it up into UI element. So, I gotta stop saying so. So I can stop sewing. Image for status. Oh, I see. It's providing an icon based on the status. Yeah, this is how you do it. This is how you contaminate things, or don't separate your concerns. Anything depending on the sync status is going to get infected with a dependency on the user interface. And sync status sounds to me like networking layer, domain layer concerns, not UI concerns. The only thing that's UI here is what is the icon for this? This should be in a separate place. So what do we have? We have synced, we have cloud, we have need update. I'm going to guess that cloud means the remote replica is newer or only exists. Need update, I'm going to guess means the local copy only exists or is newer. And synced means local and remote copies match. So in order to do this, what do we need? What's the fundamental thing we need? If we have a domain, we need to know all right, let's go back to the, where was it? Line scene reader. Here we go. Is completely synced. Don't really like that phrasing, and since I'm rewriting this, I'm going to use my own terminology here. I'm not going to keep the terminology of sync and unsync. I'm going to use the terminology of replica. Why am I changing it? Well, for starters, I'm rewriting all the logic, and that'll actually help distinguish the old from the new, as well as not really liking the term sync. I mean, synchronize also is an overload term that means a lot of different things, but replica is really what we're talking about. We're talking about data replication. It's a very common terminology in software when you compare it to distribution versus replication. Distribution or distributed computing means you're accessing a remote resource directly. Replication means you have copies that are distributed or in multiple places, and thus replication relies on synchronization or matching of replicas. So I did it again. Man, it's like my connecting word between thoughts, isn't it? We're going to say domain, line scene. I don't think we need this for every type. Domain replication equal line scene line set. How about if we do that? Domain replication equal line scene line set. I could say synchronized. Yeah, I'm going to say equal. The replicas are equal. Same? Identical? Identical. Match. Identical implies ID. Equal means the content is the same. 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 The same. Go with same. It sounds a little funny, doesn't it? Let's go with that for now. We can change it. I don't really like using equal. It's a little too generic. Domain replication is the same. It's the same line scene in both places. Okay. And we're going to get a compile error. So we don't have that. We need our adapter. Let's go back to main domain. We're going to make a new. Let's use, this is a Boolean, so let's steal this. All right. Same. Given a domain object, which is just a dictionary, we're going to call domain replication same. Okay. And this will fail to compile because we need the Kotlin side. So we're going top down. We're going from where we need it to what we need to fulfill. Domain replication. We're going to add after this. Put it in alphabetical order for now. So domain replication same. How do we know if it's the same? So we're going to add attributes. Replica. Local. As string. Is it a string? I think we're going to use long integers. So we'll do that. 0. Equals replica remote. So we're going to look for new dictionary entries, replica local and replica remote. Now, replica local and replica remote don't exist in the JSON, so they won't exist in the dictionary. We need to add them. And it makes sense to add them at the point of retrieval from the back end, and the point of creation for remote at the point of retrieval from the back end, and replica local at the point of creation or modification from the local side. If these attributes aren't found, it's going to default to 0. And there's neither, then it is the same. It isn't created on either side. So if either one of these has a value, if local has a value that's non-zero, then they're not the same. If remote has a value that's non-zero and local is 0, it's not the same, which is what we want, meaning it's remote, doesn't exist locally, it's locally, doesn't exist remotely. But if they have matching values, that means the remote matches. It is the same. That makes sense. Okay, we're doing that. Righty right. Is it compiling? Oh, I think it went to my local phone. Yeah, that's fine. My phone's plugged in. All right, compiles. So let's see what happens when we get here. So nothing really should change here because it's going to act again as if it's synced, if it's the same. Didn't like this. Oh, yeah, we didn't rename this. Domain replication. There we go. Did you mean domain replication? Invalid receiver. Oh, what do we got going on here? Line set is not a member of line scene. No, it isn't a member of line scene because line scene is now just a dictionary. Yeah. Why are we using line set off of line scene? Oh, this is the bidirectional pointer where the child points to its parent. Which doesn't. So if we look at the logic here, we originally get the line set, then we get the line scene from the line set. So why do we get the line set from the line scene when we already have the line set? I think we can just get rid of that. And that should be fine. Let's put a breakpoint here. Unknown receiver, did you mean domain replication? I did. I put it in lowercase. All right, see what happens. Okay. Okay, we hit that. Deleting that. Moving on. This should say true, which means it's going to bypass this. Yes, it did. All right. That's what we wanted to find out and get rid of that breakpoint. We'll put these, keep these breakpoints here. Okay, well, at least we rewrote that code. But we're not getting the desired result because we do, in fact, have a replica on the remote. That's how we got this in the first place. I don't think we want to say cloud here. Just say that. So it's not a bad step, but in order to invoke the actual downloading, we need it to have a replica. So how are we going to do that? Let's look at where we're actually getting, where we actually retrieve the line set. I think it's under one of these JSON guys. Not the old JSON, because that's been killed. It's in the dead folder. But the actual retrieval of the scripts is where it pulls in the line sets, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for where it pulls in the line sets from the back end. Yeah, so Objective-C, core data, script scenes JSON. I think it's somewhere in here. Yep. Right, here's where we actually got the line sets. Here's where we build the dictionary. Well, we grab the dictionary from the line sets. It's already been built. Now this is logging something to the synchronizer. This is if it gets an error. Add object cloud line set. Mutable line sets. Really don't like using these mutables in here. Building up a mutable collection. That's what has to happen. Local line sets, remove objects in array. Okay. So we're looking for this attribute. It doesn't exist. We're going to create it. Right now, synchronization for line sets is based on modified date. Let's look at the old line set. Music is still a little loud. I don't know if it's loud for you. Bring it down 25%. 20%. It's a little loud. Line set JSON. Yeah, modified date. So I don't think creation date is being used as a basis for synchronization. I think modification date, right? Let's take a look at that. Modified date. Script scenes. Yeah, see modified date. Modified date. Scene core data class. It's used a lot. It's a date-based synchronization. We're going to change it to not be date-based, but since we're not changing the backend API, we have to rely on that. Now these dates are not actually dates. They're coming down as long integers. Because we saw that in the where it created the ID for the file, you could see it's a long integer for the date. It's not really a date. Actually, let's take a look at, what is that? It's going to be line set, core data properties. It's a string. It's not even, I think it's just a number. It's coming down as a string. I wonder if we can just treat it as a number. Let's take a look at line scene. It probably has the same sort of thing. Core data properties. Modified date. We have a creation date. Audio modified date server. Modified date. We've got two dates here. That looks kind of complex. There's a scene creation date, audio modified date, audio modified date server, audio modified date. This is probably a modification date of the audio file itself. This is probably that same value as remotely on the server. This is going to be for the metadata here, which is our domain. And this is something else. Lots of dates in here. There's modified date server. Okay, so this is local and server, local and server. So it's got 4 dates by which it's keeping track of. Oof, that's a lot. That's a lot. Error. What have we got here? For line set, we've got, this is coming off the server. The server's modified date. There's audio. Okay, so audio, so it does have 2 dates on it. The modified date for the domain object itself and the modified date for the audio file. So we really just have two levels of whether or not it's the same. And rather than putting attributes in here, maybe it makes more sense to pass in our own. Okay, let's not generalize this yet. Let's do it as domain line scene. Yeah, I may have generalized too soon. Do the specific case and then generalize, not presume generalization. It's the opposite of the way I used to program. Line scene. Let's add replication in here. Line scene replication. So I'm not saying dates. I'm using dates as the way to compare replication. Line scene replica same. So we want modified date. Well, actually, let's get those values in here. Audio file name, audio modified date, modified date. Let's just do that just to start with. I'm going to keep the names exactly the same for now. I may rename them later. Modified date, which was NL. Oh, I'm doing this for line scene. I need to do it for line set. Domain line scene modified date and audio modified date. All right, we know we're going to need these. So NA, NL, NA, NL. And right now there's strings. As strings. Yeah. I got to look at the code that's referencing this stuff. Okay. Let's get rid of this for now. Let's just get the modification date stuff in there. Line set modified date. All right, so line set modified date, TM. No name, no date. No date, no date, no date. No file name, no date. No modified date, no audio modified date. I'll just say no date, that's the type. Okay. It's back to where we were. Oof. Let's just build this. Let's keep this intact for now. Getting a little ahead of myself. Okay. Get some errors, hopefully. No, we don't have errors. Let's hit our breakpoints again. Kind of lost track. All right. We skipped by this same logic because it's looking for these replica attributes that I added. Now, originally, the code looked like this, is completely synced. Let's take a look at is completely synced. Maybe we do have to make this specific case. So instead of is completely synced, we're going to say domain line scene. Same replica. Oh, this is domain line set. Sun line set, same replica. Replica same. I guess we'll do it English. Same replica. Replicated. Replicas match. Let's say replicas match. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. And we're adding it to domain line set. Then we'll think about generalizing it. Replicas match. Domain line set. Replicas match. We're going to keep this generic one for now. Probably shouldn't do it. I can always redo it. Domain line set. Replicas match. Okay, so how do we know the replicas match? Because we're going to grab domain line set modified date. And we're going to compare it to itself. It's not along. Yeah, I think we have to go with the generalized approach. But what we need to do is we need to set up this replica stuff at the point of retrieval and the point of creation. I know it feels like I'm going around in circles here. Where's that script scenes JSON? Okay. This is where we actually got it. At the point of creation, cloud line set, it finds and it adds it to this right here, cloud line set object. So I think that at this point we want to say domain line set replicas, establish replicas, cloud line set, because we just retrieved this from a back end. That's why it says cloud line set. We just retrieved this from the back end. So we're going to put this inside here. At this point, establish replicas. And what I want to do is I want to get a copy of this with the replica attributes added. So let's see what that looks like. So really, not set replicas match, establish replicas. Establish replicas. Okay. From here, I can say, give me the modified date, because incoming is going to have a modified date. And this is where I'm going to add replica remote. So this is where I want to actually add a dictionary item. Insert? I think it's insert. Contains key, contains value. Oh, I have to make this mutable. It's not mutable at this point. I don't really want a mutable. I want to add an entry. I don't want to make it mutable. I want to take an immutable, add another immutable, and get an immutable as a result. I don't want to have to go mutable, modify it, and then get it as a, yeah, yuck. There's got to be a way of adding a key to an immutable container, immutable dictionary, and getting a new immutable dictionary. Let's take a look at Kotlin dictionaries, Kotlin maps. Hey, let's try ChatGPT. We've been playing around with it. Let's see if it's smart enough. Now, I've been using ChatGPT on Erlang. It doesn't know crap about Erlang. It gets stuff, every time I ask it questions, it gets it wrong. It just doesn't know what the current APIs are and all that. It's amazingly bad. Now, this is 3.5. I guess ChatGPT 5 is on its way in. But Kotlin, on the other hand, is extremely popular, and there's so much information out there. It should be able to gather up the info I need. So let's say, how do I... so in Kotlin, let's say in Kotlin, how do I add an immutable item to another immutable map and get an immutable map in return. Let's see what it does. Map of function. You simply use the plus operator. Oh, this syntax right here. There we go. Okay, helpful. Original map plus. That's what we want. Yay, thank you. So let's do that. So new dict. We'll just call it D. Dict plus replica remote. It doesn't like using dict here. And now the value is going to be so we're essentially just copying this value into this attribute. We don't want val, we just want dict plus. So we're getting the modified date. We're inserting it, we're basically copying it into the dictionary with this new key. And why do you not like that syntax? Error. Type mismatch. Oh, the Boolean was expected. Yeah, we're not done. Oh, this is established replicas. We don't have a Boolean here. Yeah. Should be no result. Actually, no, we do have a result. The result is the dictionary itself. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. Okay, cool. So we're assuming when we establish replicas, we're setting the remote, but should I say establish replica remote? That's what that's going to do. Establish replica remote. Let's do that. Let's do that. Then when we go to do a comparison, we're going to compare the remote to local. Remote's going to have a value. Local's not going to have a value. Now here's where we get the long thing. I don't think I'm going to do an as here. I think we're going to do, well, the problem is that's an any. I have to do an as. Let's keep it a string for now, because we're just comparing. We're not saying one is greater than the other, although we're going to need to do that. Let's do it as string. As string. Oh. Well, we can generalize that as well. Okay, replica remote. So I do need this one for domain line set because specifically it's grabbing this particular attribute and that's going to generalize that. Okay, so we are going to keep the generalized thing. Domain replication, same. Okay, that's how we're doing that. Establish replica remote. Cloud line set. Now, this is not telling us anything about the local version. We don't really have, well, we do have a local version because we load it up locally. Yeah, this is going to be a long road. Let's just do this. Establish replica remote, cloud line set. Okay. It's not replicas match. It's going to be establish replica remote. Replica remote. So domain line set. Establish replica remote. I wonder if this is idempotent, meaning are we going to get a duplicate in here? We run this more than once. Does plus on a map will this operation create a duplicate item in the map if the added key is already in the map? Okay, it's an override. That's fine. Good. Now we're trusting that you're true, that you're right, and we're going to find out. Yeah, it's establishing that this is the remote replica attribute. Got it. Okay. Makes sense. All right, Kotlin compiles. Let's see how far we get here. Domain replication same. Domain replication same. Conversion of bool. Establish replica remote. Bool. Oh, I think I don't think we meant to say bool. Yeah. This returns the dictionary. The new one. And it should be idempotent, meaning a repeated execution with the same values does not have any duplicates, remains the same. Establish replica remote. Okay. Replicas match. Domain line set. Okay, so this is where, yeah, we're going to go back to the generic domain replication. Same. Okay. So same is true. Same should not have been true. Yeah, see, these are our dates. These are just these long integers. Milliseconds, probably. Modified date, TM. TM in this guy. I don't see the replica element in there. That's what's missing. Probably because this pulled this up from the stored file. All right, where were we? It was script scenes JSON. Let's get a breakpoint here. The synchronizer's not running. So it didn't create this. We have to start over from scratch. Start over from scratch. There we go. Let's disable this breakpoint. We're going to keep it. We're going to disable it. All right, now let's take a look at line set. It still has 6 key value pairs. It doesn't have that entry in there. Domain line set establish replica remote. It should have added this entry to the dictionary and returned it. Why didn't it do that? I think I need to wipe the local user data because I think it's retrieving it from the local file. I didn't mean to do that. Let's delete it. Start over from scratch. Obviously, I'm going to have to fix the synchronization overwriting the local files, but it's not doing that right now. And we'll resolve that problem. Cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, see how complex this is? Replication's a big deal. It's the heart of this sort of application. All right, we're logging in. So now there's going to be no local files. Of course, I could have wiped out the local files. Could have done that using the breaker. All right, let's see what we get. And now we're pulling down the script. First time. The synchronizer hasn't run yet. Once the script's there, then the synchronizer is going to run and it's going to pull down. It's in a cycle here. Doesn't seem to be running. Usually it's logging stuff out. Where's the synchronizer? Don't seem to be running. I didn't mean to do that. All right, it's not pulling down. It's not pulling down the line sets. Why not? Scene core data. We don't need this. Goodbye. Scene. We don't need that. We don't need audio player. Huh. Boom. Goes to get the line sets. At this point, there aren't any files. This is when they're stored as local files, but they haven't been pulled down from the back end to be stored as files because the synchronizer's not run yet. So we get nothing. There they are. What? What happened? I think I disabled the breakpoint that I wanted to in here, didn't I? Yeah. Let's start over. Okay. Here we can see right away line scene synchronizers running immediately. There's our cloud line set. Let's go ahead and just make an intermediate variable for this. Ugh. Intermediate variables help for debugging, but other than that, I find them annoying. Line set. Say let, right? Isn't that let? Let? Oh, we're not in Swift. I have to say it as dictionary, right? Pointer. Have to do that. That's why I don't like the intermediate variable. Objective-C, syntax. And now I can't see it. Of course I can't see it. Oh, the debugger. Useless. Okay. I'm just going to go back to looking at it elsewhere. I wonder if I can look at that. God, it's annoying. No, can't look at it. Can't look at it. It's not going to show me anything in Objective-C. God, it's so painful. All right, well, let's just look at it when we use it. Let's just keep going. All right. We're going to disable that breakpoint. There we get our line sets. Let's disable that. Boom. Still 6 key value pairs. Okay, so it's not getting added. How can this not be getting added? Line set for section. I mean, this is the line set. It has 11 lines in it. There's no other place that this line set object is getting created. Oh, this is annoying. Establish replica remote. I might have to log it. Calls this, passes the dictionary. There's no way this is not adding this to the dictionary and returning it. Takes the input dictionary, adds replica remote, and returns that. There's just no way. There's no way it's not doing it. Obviously, I don't understand something. Cloud line set. Mutable line sets. And we get the dictionary, cloud line set. We add it. Here's the problem. It gets stored. Yeah. Oops, I do need the intermediate variable. That's the problem. I do need the intermediate variable. I only store, I only stored the unmodified one. My own fault. Okay, NS dictionary. Replicated line set. We'll just call it line set. I don't know, we're going to call it cloud line set. Cloud line set, still the same. All right, object line set. Yeah. That's the problem. Now where we say cloud line set, we just want to say line set. And line set. All right, do we have cloud line set anywhere else? This is the old code. I don't know why I have a to-do on here. This rewrite is complete. Let's get rid of the old code. We know this is new code. This is new logic. We know it works. Okay. Else update, again, line set. Even though this is old code, the line set's been modified. Uh-oh, now we got a new line set. Okay. I don't want to rewrite that code down there yet. We'll just call it rep line set, or replicated line set. Rep line set. Let's rename this from cloud line set to remote. That way I can catch everywhere it's being used. Remote line set. Okay, remote line set, replicated. I'm going to call it replicated line set equals replicated so remote line set, replicated line set. See what kind of errors we get. Right. It's not called cloud anymore. It's called remote. Okay. Store string is file replicated line set. Actually, yeah. Changed my mind. Let's go back to keeping this intact as cloud line set. We'll make the new one called remote. Cloud. Remote. 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 And instead of saying cloud line set, I actually don't care about this other stuff at this point. I'm okay with that. I'm going to leave this unmodified. Because I'm going to rewrite that code anyway. All right. Git diff. All right, so we have a thing called a remote line set. And here, storing as file remote line set. That's what we're doing. Now let's see what happens. Although I don't think it's going to store it again this time. Let's see. There we go. There it is. Okay, replica remote. That's what we want. So now it should be false. Now it should say, look, there's no replica local. All I have is a replica remote. There is no local version of this. Although it just came from synchronization, it just got stored. So at the point in which it gets stored is where it needs to add the local. So this is going to fail, and it's going to end up trying to sync, even though it's already synced. That's what we want, though. Okay. But that's not the correct behavior, because the script scenes JSON is literally the part in which it got it from the cloud and it stored it. So here we're basically saying establish a replica remote here. Then we're going to write it. This is the create. Remember, we're doing some comparisons here. We're actually going to compare it to the local copy. And then we're going to decide whether we're going to write it. If it matches the local copy, then we're fine. But for now, we're going to create it. At this point is where I actually want to say establish replica local. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to modify this. Say establish replica. We're going to take two additional parameters. Which is going to be remote, local, Boolean, remote, Boolean. So this is where it gets interesting from a functional programming standpoint without doing a bunch of if statements. See, if we were in Lisp, we could just add, we could add the empty list to an existing list. It wouldn't have any effect. Yeah. Yuck. If local. Yeah, it's nasty. If remote. Yeah, do a let. This is ugly. But I don't like that. Gross. Yeah. Yuck. But that's what we're going to do. It's getting convoluted quickly, isn't it? Make the solution as simple as possible, but no simpler. There's a certain minimal level of complexity needed to solve the problem. Trick is keeping it from getting out of control. Bool local. Bool. Remote. Bool. Local. Remote. Local. False. Remote. True. So this is the point in which we've gotten it from the back end and we're saying, look, this is the replica for the remote, true. It's not the replica value for local, but when we write it, we're going to do that. And that's where we're going to copy this. Even though we know we're coming in here right away, that's because this other logic has been commented out. So the delete logic and the update logic. The update logic is going to do a comparison. This is where it compares. So here we can see this modified date. So yeah, we're actually going to update this logic here. We're going to get some of our synchronization stuff working. But right here where we decide to create, this is where we need to modify. Establish replica, local true, remote false. The remote's already been set up here. So this is remote true. We're establishing replica here. We're establishing our local true. We could do both at the same time, local and remote. We ever going to do that? Should we make his two booleans and just put this as an enum? I don't think I'd be setting both at the same time. I'd be doing one or the other. Where would I ever be setting it both ways? It's really one or the other. Remote, not local, true. This is a way I use a Boolean flag to mean two different things. I'll say the not value is and if I say remote, not local, so this is local, it's false. I can simplify it because I don't need to ever set both at the same time. I'm going to be setting one or the other. At the point of creation, at the point of remote, let's try that. I don't like having both at the same time. Remote, not local. I tend to prefer my Booleans to default to false. So now we can simplify this. Now we can say if remote not local, replica remote, else replica local. There we go. Really didn't like that other one doing double copies. Why does it not like the plus sign there? Doesn't like that. Why doesn't it like it? Doesn't like this overload for some reason. There we go. Okay. Remote not local, bool. Has no default, you have to set it. Remote not local. It's remote not local. All right, here we go. We're getting close to what did I do? What did I do wrong? Dict, remote not local, bool. Establish replica. Yeah, we renamed it. Uh-huh. Ah, it's not remote. It's just establish replica. Okay, domain line set, establish replica, cloud line set, remote not local, true. Establish replica, cloud line set, remote not local, false, meaning it's local. So we should end up with 8 attributes. No. This is simply going to get stored, but it's not going to replace the one in here. Add object. What is the problem? Capitalization. All right, I see a problem right here. Let's go back. I see the problem. This is creating a new local variable here. Yeah, I mean, it actually doesn't get assigned anywhere. So Remote line set needs to get replaced. I need to replace this object at this point. So can I replace an object? Mute line sets. NS dictionary. Can you jump me to definition? It's going to say no. I don't know what that is. NS dictionary replace. Well, it is a dictionary. If I say add object, I wonder if it's going to replace it. Well, what's the key? The key is up here. Oh, this is not a dictionary. Is it? No, mute line sets is a set. That's right. All right, so I need to remove one guy from the set and replace it. Can I say replace object? Probably not. I bet there's not. NS mutable set. Let's see what operations we have on that. Yeah, I want to place the item in the set. Should we ask the chat Gippet? Ask it again. In Objective-C, how do I replace an object in an NS mutable set with another? Yeah, okay. Move object, add object. We don't have a replace object. That would be nice. That would be nice. Are we recording again? I think I paused it. No, I'm unpausing it. Remove and add. That's all we do. We just do remove and add. Now it's going to put these things out of order if I do that. Does the order matter? Well, this is immediately following. Yeah, this should be fine. It should be fine. So we're going to remove this. And then we're going to add, remove the existing one, make a new one. This is what you do when you're dealing with immutability. Local line, we're going to call it local line set, because this is now the local one. And then we're going to add it. So let's just put this in let's create the local line set. In fact, what I'll probably end up doing is not adding the remote one. Local line set. Add object. And now we're going to call this local line set. Local line set. Because this is now storing it, since it's going to generate the description, what it's going to store locally is going to be both replica values. It's going to have replica remote and replica local in the file, which is what we want. Let's try it. Getting down to the end of this session. Let's see what we get. Seven key value pairs. Replica local. What happened to replica remote? Okay, that's not right. We had that. Remote, not local. Oh, cloud line set right there. Boom. Got 3 copies of this line set. 1, 2, and 3. From the remote, we create the local. Okay, that should solve the problem. The original cloud line set, that stuff's going to get rewritten. Don't know if it's going to rewrite this. Let's see what happens. There we go, 8 key value pairs. Okay, so replica local, replica remote. Now they match because the line set, we retrieved it, we stored it, we're forcing ourselves to recreate it. We're not doing the update right now, we're forcing a recreate. Okay, so replica remote, replica local, they match. Now it's going to hop over this guy again, which we're okay with because it's not the line set itself that's the problem, it's the line seen. And remember, the original code is completely synced. So this same thing needs to have logic where, let's put a to-do in here. Not yet completely same. Because the line sets themselves, just the JSON for the line sets match, but the line scenes they contain haven't been compared, and they are independent. They have their own independent dates. Well, they haven't been fully retrieved. But anyway, it's going to skip over this, and it does. That's good enough for now. Yeah, I'm going to save what we did. I'm going to resume this later. So you don't need to be around for me pushing my new commit. Well, when you're dealing with replication, I wish you the best of luck.